welcome back. Hope everyone had a good break. They're able to stretch, grab some snacks. Start the timer for myself. There we go. So we ended with Medea going off to wake up her little owlin friend, and Hera off to find the buff squad.
The buff squad. The Triton sandwich.
Oh. That would. We need the filling. We can't have a sandwich without our.
Don't worry, your filling's coming.
Well, that...
Okay, actually, no, okay, never mind. Moving on. Someone come follow Medea. Medea, what are you doing?
I'm doing something very wholesome to change the entire vibe of the scene away from talking about filling.
Where's Kawu? Kawu's here, Kawu.
Wake up, Kawu! No, so Medea will go up the stairs. Does Kawu have any dietary restrictions? Because I think Medea would make a point of knowing everyone's dietary restrictions.
No dietary restrictions. Prefers
There's a gentle...
seeds, but whatever.
Ah, cool. There's a gentle knock at your door. Kawu!
There?
Kawu!
There? Yes? There? You hear scratchy.
Hello!
Hello? Hi, hey! Hi!
Hi, good morning.
What? Is it morning already? I just went to sleep. Come in. And I go pull the curtains open, and it's like, oh my god! It's so bright. I've been up all night. Did you see the moon? Did you see Rudius? Rudius was blood red full moon last night.
Was it? And Medea is trying to move into the room and carefully just kind of like trying to step around all of the stuff that you have scattered here, not trying to disturb it.
Oh yeah. So yeah, no, I made some notes. I did some studies last night. I was studying the stars and the constellations from the, and we remember we found the temple. We had the vision, and so I had to have some alone time up. I flew up and I had a look at the constellations, and it all kind of fit into place. I could see where the temple of the moon wheel was, where Selenine. No. Again, yeah, it was Selenine. And then I sort of had a look at their constellations in the skies, each of the others, and it all fits. It's like laid out, it's plotted out. And then I was just studying that, and then the moon went red. The second moon went red, blood red, full.
Oh, heavens!
That's
As you're like gesticulating wildly, like Medea is taking a granola bar and putting it into your hand. Oh wow. So do you think it means anything?
Well, yeah. Certainly, if it happens outside of its normal cycle, it's extremely out of the ordinary, unnatural. And usually brings bad things with it. I mean,
maybe tied to that vision we had?
Yes. Most definitely tied to that vision. It can't be a coincidence. That vision was so powerful. It was shared by... Well, it was a shared vision in itself. Is just mind-blowing. It can't be a coincidence. I've only experienced that kind of moon once before, and it wasn't. Anyway, yeah, it has to be connected. Only see he
I
kind of
trust your
looks
judgment.
down and kind of shuffles away and starts collecting up some other stuff.
I see. I don't tend to look up. Most of my studies are to the ground, so I trust your judgment most here, but the others are starting to begin their day and have food, and I just thought to share some with you.
Did you made this? Did you
Yes.
make this? This is delicious. This is amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Blushing fervently. Thanks. It's just a little something. Don't worry.
No, this is really good. This is really good. Wow. Thank you. Have you got? You have any more? Do you have any more?
Oh, there's always more.
And he's like, comes over and is like, politely but also very hungrily, eats some more breakfast if you have some.
Yeah, Medea goes on to tell you, like, when I was raising my dear Adora, she used to throw herself into the backpack full of food. Help yourself. Don't worry.
Adora.
And,
Adora. Can you tell me?
Oh.
Where's Adora? Where is she?
Oh, I'm not quite sure, but Adora is my daughter.
Oh, you have a daughter. That's beautiful. But you're not sure where she is.
No. Do you need help cleaning here?
Oh, yeah. Sure. And he realizes that it's an awkward topic, and sort of like stares away from it. And I was like, yeah, sure. I'll be. Have you spoken to the others? I mean, do they have any thoughts about the vision or anything, or about what to do next? Because I could barely sleep. I mean, I stay up most of the night anyway, usually.
I think they are lifting rocks. I think that's what they've been doing all morning.
Lifting rocks. Is this Yanni and Mira? Is this they're doing the thing? Are they doing the thing?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like
It's-
camera
it's the-
pans back out to the window again, and now we're lifting something else that's just even more ridiculous than the last shot. This is like
The
the
tabor
most
tosses?
outgoing that Yanni gets. Yeah. Like, this is the most outgoing that Yanni gets, and it's mostly Mira's fault. Like, I feed off your energy.
If I may, maybe it's like you both of you like threw Ada like onto a cart, and which is on top of another cart, and Ada's just here like trying to give you food, and you're like both of you are like lifting him on these.
we're bench pressing, like Mira and Shimyani are on our backs, bench pressing together this stack of carts that you're sitting on top of. Yes, that's it. That's the shot.
I would say to Medea, say, hey, packing up stuff. I was like, sorry for prying about your daughter. I could tell it's a difficult subject. I won't mention it again unless you want to.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's not so much that, it's more that I just don't know. It was a while ago, but thank you. You are so kind.
If you wanted any help finding her, I'm pretty good with locations and stuff.
I will take you up
Just
on
put-
it, but for now.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, shuffle. Grab the stuff. Let's go. We've got stuff to uncover. There's stuff to talk about. They can't just be lifting rocks all morning.
Well, why don't you go start the conversation, and I'll be right behind.
And swoosh up, and a little flurry of feathers, and head on down outside. Come on, Medea! Yeah.
What's something that's more ridiculous that we could be doing right now, Mira? Because we gotta up the ante each time.
I was gonna say, like, if rather than like lifting, since the festival is over, and May mentioned that, you know, like people are taking down the stalls, but some are like not intended for reuse. So I feel like upon seeing people starting to like slowly take apart their stalls, they're like, we could just break them apart for you. We could just like break them down if you need them done.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? And so we start
Hammer
to
time.
just like
Smash.
smash stalls. Who can smash the most stalls? And go.
The
Yeah.
town is all for this. Jigao loves competition, and they see this like friendly rivalry, and they are here for it. You even start to get a bit of a crowd, like kind of like seeing what's like going on, and like you know, various ones are cheering for each of you as you continue your workout for the morning.
Who wins? Should we roll for this?
Oh, it's Yanni. Let's not be like Mira does more like flexing and showmanship, but Yanni does the most actual physical labor.
No, yeah, like I'm doing most of the work. You're riling up the crowd, and then as soon as we're done, you're like, "Look what I did!"
You're
Yes, it's
welcome,
perfect.
people
It's
of Giga. That's right. We have once again your winning team from the previous night. That's right. We're also so helpful, so kind. If you have work for us, let us know. We work for a very reasonable price.
Yeah, you definitely get like a few ooh, ahs, and like the cheering and stuff like that, and then they kind of like slowly disperse as they continue their morning. And, do you all
think, like,
reconvene in the
Yeah,
tavern?
we reconvene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you all
Yeah.
get together, you have noticed two individuals have taken seat with each other. Galsariad, the drow mage, and Irvin, the shaggy-haired human. They're kind of enjoying their breakfast. And you know, Irvin is like full-on blushing and moon-eyeing and just like staring at Galsariad and just like kind of barely touching his breakfast. Well, Galsariad just seems kind of like oblivious. He's like reading from a book, and he's got kind of like a stack of books beside him.
Sounds very familiar.
That is what you see when you come together.
It's like I feel like seeing this, like Mira was about to like, you know, like encourage some stuff, but then like seeing the very clear chemistry headed in a different direction is like, so we were going to talk. Oh, reminder, did they give us? They didn't give us our money. They ended up giving Medea a pearl, which is not bad. It was the equivalent value, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we still were like, okay,
100 gold.
that's right. But so today, we're starting today by talking to, what was it? The ministers, the magisters, the something of that sort, the
Ushru.
town.
I believe.
Yeah.
Ushru. A priest in town.
He was running the festivities.
Yes. And they seemed to have a particular knowledge about this whole situation. They said that we should go and talk to them after we had rested, and well, now we've rested. So I think that time is of the essence, yes?
Let's do this.
All right. I imagine you ask for directions of where Urshu would be and kind of head your way over.
Yeah.
Over yonder.
On the way to Urshu, Kawu will be like excitedly talking to the group, saying, "So, last night, I flew up and I plotted the constellations of the three gods, and against my star map, against the maps I already have, Juminyani, they might correlate to some of the maps you have as well. But where the temple of the moon weaver was,
Moonweaver?
yep. If we use that as one of the points of the constellations, they follow a pattern across the terrain. So potentially another point will be to the east, possibly another temple. I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out here. But I was up all night and I was studying constellations, and then the moon turned red. Did you see that? Did you see Rudius turn full and red? Anyone? Just me? This is not a normal thing. This is not a
Jiminyani
normal thing.
doesn't say anything, but their face changes.
Does a passive perception of 17 see that?
You can pick up on
Yeah.
that with a 17, yeah.
Oh yeah.
17. Oh.
Yanni's a bad liar. Yanni's a bad liar.
Yeah. Gal is very perceptive. It's the big eyes. Yeah.
Tell me what your owl eyes see.
Yeah. Everything. I'll see that. And I'll be like, I'll look at you and like hold, and then if you don't say anything, I'll move on. I won't bring it up. I'll be just like, so in my past experience, this doesn't happen very often, and usually something bad. So, or something portentous, something huge, right? So
It's
possibly
an omen,
the vision.
isn't
It's
it?
an omen. Yeah. Yes, it's an omen exactly. Or could be an ill omen, could be a good omen. But we all shared that vision, right? And then Rudius turns full and red. This isn't. I don't know. These are powers that I am not familiar with. That could be at work, but it's worth keeping alert to everything around us.
I should let you all know that during that vision, my patron spoke to me. And she seemed to know the man inside the vision. And she also seemed to think that he should have been dead.
What?
Well, yeah, didn't he say it was from, what, 1,000 years ago or something?
The
It was
calamity.
Calamity. 800 years ago.
That's basically 1,000. That's not someone who, you know, aside from
200
the
years is long.
gods.
We should maybe
Your
ask
patron spoke
Ushru
to you?
about
Your
this.
Your patron spoke to you.
Yes, Karu. She did.
There are some powers going on right now. We are possibly a part of. Let's go to this person.
As you get closer to the Temple of the Luxon, which is, you know, the main religion of the Kreen dynasty, which is kind of in control of this area, and there's like a flurry of activity, probably more than what you would normally note for a random morning. When you enter in, you see Urshu kind of like at the back altar, and he's just like surrounded by, looks like, boxes and crates from archives that are just like piled up around him. And there's a couple priests kind of like going through, and they're all kind of like very hastily going through all of these various artifacts.
Hello. Urshu, was it?
Like, looks up. Right. I think I may have found something. About the jewel, and then especially after the moon, I wasn't too worried when I went to bed. But well,
You saw the moon too, yeah? You saw the moon?
it was hard to miss. One of my attendants woke me up for it. So definitely, yeah, definitely seen it. So can't be a coincidence, you know, the Emerald Eye is missing. Instead, you find this where it should have been, and then now this.
I told you.
Gonna lead you over to a kind of like couple large crates. And it looks like they're like pieces of broken temple bits, kind of like what you saw in the grotto. Bits and pieces of relief sculpture that would have adorned the outside or inside areas of Sahanin's temple. And he points you over to a particular one, and you see a relief depicting 4 individuals. A human with a round shield and spear flanked by 2 winged women. The 4th is harder to make out, a bit too damaged. It's right kind of like on where it is cracked. But the human, you know, has a circle pendant jewel around their neck. And he's like, now, this temple that is, you know, we've known it's been here a while, and these fragments here, they're less eroded than, you know, other bits. They're newer.
Does the figure with the shield look like Elixion?
Sure does.
Okay.
And he kind of
I
like
think
he's like face like up close to like this as he's kind of like pointing and like leading stuff, and he's like, now I don't know who this fellow is, but that definitely looks like the thing that you found. And
Elixion. And Yanni points at it with like the butt of their glaive so that the rest of the party can see it, and they just repeat the name again. Elixion. That's
Kinda
him,
like-
isn't it?
does a little like jump back as like a glaive kind of like dink.
Oh,
I-
sorry.
No, it's fine. I don't think we have that name. And he kind of like turns to the priest and, have anyone of you come across Elixion? Any? And they're all kind of like, no. But I think what we do know is this part of the temple was built kind of shortly after the calamity. So it's, I think what you found is what they call a vestige of Why did my brain forget that word? Come on now. Divergence. Thank you. Vestige of divergence. Very, very rare and hard to come across.
The necklace?
Does
Or-
that name mean
Yeah.
anything to any of us? Like vestige of divergence?
Yeah, what's kind of like generally known about them is that these are often relics of myth and legend, and some of them have been kind of like popping back up here and there that have been found. And these items are typically have been imbued with divine magic of a particular god who's given that item to one of their champions.
Is it unusual for these to have blessings from multiple gods?
Not that anyone's like heard of. And if you voice that Ursher, he's like beyond his
Just because
scope.
we know that the jewel has 3 different gods symbols on them.
Wasn't there in our vision, it was specifically said that one of the gods gave Alexian their powers, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was Coraline.
Yeah, there was 3 that there was the Moonweaver, whose temple is what you found at. You also heard Avandra the Changebringer, and Coraline the Arkheart.
If I like take out, because like I have the pendant from when we found it, and if I take it out and bring it over, you described that like he was wearing, like it's very clearly identical, like if I bring it over.
Yeah, for what it is, it's like, it's kind of, it's subtle, but there's kind of faint grooves on this circular pendant that this individual is wearing, and along with the rest of their attire, you can make that logical leap that it's the same thing.
If I go over to the statue and the relief and I like hold out the pendant, can I like trace the markings on it? Are they very like, is there anything on the pendant that moves if I touch it? Does it seem like there's anything here? Like, is it like, sometimes necklaces are lockets or like have doodads in them, or like, you know what I mean? I'm double checking now. Now that we're like here and we're looking at this and we have some professional, religious help, I guess.
Yeah, I imagine like Usha, he's a fairly tall orc, and so he's kind of like hunched over as he's like, but you can only assume he's nearsighted as he gets real close to things, and he'll kind of like be looking at things with you, and you don't seem to see that it opens in any shape, but it does kind of bear a little resemblance to the Moonweaver's iconography, like her main symbol, and he does kind of get a divine magical sense from the item.
Ushru, do you mind if I just look through your records?
Sure, yeah, if you can make any connections, the faster we can maybe come up with an idea of what's going on, the less event will be had with the moon. Kind of
Thank
like
you.
Trails off into thought.
Yeah, thank you. And I think Ada goes and starts rummaging through the different crates of archival records that they have, and he is trying to piece together. So Ada is a prince, right? They're from the diarchy of Uthadorn, and the diarchy has a very close connection to Coralon, the Arkheart specifically. So I imagine that in the royal library, there would have been a lot of documents like about the calamity, about Coralon, about, all of this stuff. And so Ada is trying to remember what he has learned from his home and trying to connect it to any of the documents that are here that like this temple particularly has access to. and is just trying to see like, are there any missing pieces, like missing gaps that can be filled by like combining the two about the calamity and maybe about like a figure that sounds like it could be Elixian, maybe not by name but just in description, because nobody seems to know his name.
Roll history with advantage.
Okay, I got a 12 and then an 11, but total that is 18.
You see fragments of stuff. Basically, Jorhas was it's at least known by those educated, with a fair amount of tutors and stuff like that who have access to more academic education, that Jorhas was a battleground for the calamity. It's basically its landscape is the result of battles that took place here. So a lot of the older records that you kind of have small fragments do kind of talk back to those battles. Orlon was definitely present with them, as well as you find there's no names, but there are a couple celestials that historians are making note of. And there's a name that often comes up is Betrayer's Rise. And for those familiar with this area, you know that Betrayer's Rise is a massive temple from the Calamity Days that is in Bazozan, which is about a week journeys away.
I've been freaking out here because I just figured that out.
Dear Urshu, you did mention that we would receive a pearl in lieu of coin as a reward, and I was hoping to perhaps get my hands on that now, so I can use it for something.
Yes. Our treasury is located at the Dynasty Outposts. So you'll have to ask the taskmaster for that. But I'll write you a note for it, so he's aware.
Thank you. That would be of great help. And Medea will turn to the party and say, I have the ability to perhaps divine more information from objects. I don't have my workshop or tools with me, but I think a pearl will have just the right ingredient and resonation that I need for this particular spell. To cast Identify.
Magic.
If you explain this, like your reasoning for the pearl, Rusha will be like, his eyes just like kind of like perk up, and he'll send someone like, well, we shall not wait, and he will send an attendant to go get what you need and bring it back.
Oh, thank you. Wait. And then I give a granola bar to the person who's going to go run. Here you go. We're in trouble. Stay hydrated.
Okay, thanks. And yeah, in a short time, and the buildings aren't too far apart. The individual kind of like out of breath as he just like pretty much booked it across the square, and then came back and offers you a pearl.
Okay. Very nice. Medea will find like a table or some kind of clear space and say, may I please see the pendant for just a moment? And see her take out these little spectacles, and she kind of puts them on, and she begins to try to tinker at the object, and she's doing all sort of like alchemical things. She filters the strange fluid through a thing, and it goes over the pearl, and the pearl infused whatever goes onto the object, and she casts Identify.
All right. Object is magic item. Use properties and how to use them. Attunement. Food. And was created by a spell. Learn which spell. Cool. All right. You have learned that this is the Jewel of the Three Prayers. It is definitely a vestige of Divergence. It requires attunement. And you know that it's in its dormant state. It still has abilities in this state. Vestiges tend to have various forms. So this one currently is active with the Moonweaver's Divine Link, and it's in its dormant state.
Well, so, if we acquire the appropriate means, we might be able to activate this. Or it could be attuned to other divines, possibly even multiple at the same time. And Medea will essentially share all the information that she can glean from this.
So when Prince Ada goes off to look at all the records and stuff, I think Yanni takes another look at the relief before just like following Ada back, and they pull out their map that they worked on the night before, and they're kind of just like following behind Ada idly, just like staring at it and thinking. I'm assuming Ada has like sat down, like plopped down to like look at stuff. Yanni will just like come up behind you and just sit next to you, and I think they put their map just on top of whatever you happen to be looking at, and they point at the city, Bazozan. How do you say it?
Bazozan.
Sean? Bazozan. They point at Bazozan, and they say, here. Remember, in our vision, his voice was fading in and out, but he mentioned taking the jewel, the thing that we found, to the edge of the abyss. And Yanni points again at a symbol that has been scratched hastily on the map that is labeled the Umber Gates. Say, this is a gateway to the abyss. He was telling us, and they just keep pointing at
the jewel to Bazozan. You think that
Yes.
Alexian might be in the abyss?
I don't know, but that's what he said,
Transported.
is to bring something. Yeah.
Alexian
those
never
gates and-
sacrificed his life, he simply was transported elsewhere.
Yanni's brow
That's-
furrows because they didn't get that far, but yes.
But I think given what like Zalakas had said to Ada, and also the knowledge that I think Ada maybe is like now thinking out loud, and he just kind of like says out loud, there's descriptions of celestials that seem oddly familiar. It's possible that Alexian himself was one. I'm not quite sure about that theory, but
Yanni's now just
it would
listening
explain
to you because
why.
finding Bazazan was like the extent of what they've put together, and now they're just listening to your theory.
That would explain why Alexian was able to survive all these years, right? No humanoid, no mortal lives that long, but a celestial. Well, unless
makes
they're
sense.
killed, they're immortal, right?
Era, roll an intelligence check.
Okay.
Use your
Is
hero
this a
points.
save or just like a straight?
points.
Just a
int?
straight.
Oh yeah! Oh my god! Okay, I'm using 2 hero points to get myself a nat 20.
All right.
Thanks, chat.
Yay!
With that nat 20, and you're going through this information, and you're, kind of bouncing this dialogue off Yoni. There was 2 celestials flanking the figure on that relief. One looks a little familiar to you. You're not 100%
Is it
sure,
Zelda's?
but you have a hunch.
And I think putting this together, Ada like quickly scrambles up off of the ground, maybe like scattering some of the papers in their wake, and they run up to the relief, and they say like kind of loudly so everybody can hear. That right there. Look. I think that's her. That's Salakas.
Your patron?
My patron. My beloved. I think that's her. She looks different, of course, from now, but I'd recognize her anywhere.
How chatty are you and your patron? Could you like call her up and ask her if she remembers this, or like?
Before you get to that, our scene fades and we'll take our second break. Before we go, we do have a cast member who has to take off for another super cool
I have
adventure.
to go for tech rehearsal.
Everyone,
Thanks everybody for
say
coming.
goodbye to Jay.
Bye.
And we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break.